So something that was brought up in our groups, it was the how to stay on track with your nutrition and your workouts and everything on weekends, or when there's events going on, or when there's a birthday party, something like that. You're away with your partner or your spouse. Um, for a weekend? How do you stay on track, particularly with the nutrition? I mean, the workout, you can kind of fit that in, especially if there's a birthday in the evening time, but really the nutrition. So I was thinking maybe Leah and I could talk about some of our tricks and tips. And Leah has had to really hone in on those skills because she is, and I've mentioned it before in some of my videos, she is like really focused because she's doing a bikini competition. So she has had to forego any and all indulgences, and because she's a badass. Okay, well, she's going like this, but let's just assume that she is. So Leah, I know I'm totally putting you on the spot. I didn't even like text you to like warn you that I was going to maybe ask this, but I figured because she's been training for this, I knew that she'd have this in her back pocket more or less. So what have you done like during weekends, or when we first started 80 Day Obsession? Nate, you might not know this. We first started 80 Day Obsession in January. Leah went to a resort and was at this like country music or this music festival, like the first freaking week. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to like mess this up the first week. And I was like, no, you're not. It's going to be fine. And so Leah, like, what are some of the tips and tricks that you've used? What do you have in your back pocket? What do you kind of have to help you with that?
So I'm going to go back to talk about that first week here in a second, but to share on, I just went to an event on Friday. Sorry, I have like the worst time with days of the week. So Friday we had this charity event to go to that we got invited to. I had no idea what the food was going to be like or anything like that. But what I did prior to going was I knew what meals I had left for the day. I was a little behind on my timing, so I had 2 meals left, and I took a picture of, because Nate, I've showed you this before, where I have that paper, it's like stuck to my wall, and I cross off my containers, and for me that makes it really easy because I'm home generally. So I took a picture of that and I go, okay, so I have 2 greens, 2 reds, a purple, 2 yellows, a blue, an orange, and 2 teaspoons. So I knew, like, in my head, okay, this is what I can eat. Having done the container system for almost 2 years now, I can really gauge it really well, and know, kind of like what I'm putting on my plate is going to be enough. That's going to come with time. And I know that you and I talked about that a little bit with, you guys go out to eat a lot and things like that. And so, I mean, I could have easily brought my containers with me and measured everything, but I was like, you know what, I already kind of know this. So, when I got there, I got really excited because they actually had food that I could eat, which you don't know until it was,
Oh no.
it's like, you don't know there and go, okay, this is what I can eat, this is what I can't eat. And so once I got up there, I was like, okay, sweet. So I looked, they had the tortillas, and it was the corn tortillas, so I could have 2 each for my container of yellow. And then I saw the meat, and the meat looked like it was, hold on, I'm in a parking lot. The meat was cooked in a healthy manner, so I was like, okay, good, I can eat that. And then I tried to pack in as many vegetables as I could, because that's the largest container. So the green one, that's a cup full of vegetables. So I knew that was going to be kind of the struggle, but I got on what I could. So I posted a picture of my plate, and I literally had the largest plate of like all of the other women that were walking by, and I don't give a shit because my body needs this food. So I had these like 4 huge short tacos. And to be honest with you, after eating that, I listened to my body, and because right now I'm eating on a deficit, but I have to listen to my body, and if my body's saying I'm still really fucking hungry, then I will eat more. So I actually ate the half of the second taco that my husband didn't eat. Okay, he ate 2, I ate 4. Like,
but Joe like doesn't work out. Joe doesn't work out. It like doesn't even count.
Okay. No, he doesn't. He doesn't
work out. So her metabolism is like really high.
Yeah.
Also, my friend had triangles taste better when it's in your like best friend's plate or in your like partner's plate.
Yeah. Like when I steal like someone else's water, like my boyfriend's water or something, it just, I don't know why, like the water just tastes better and I drink more water if it's his.
Exactly. Well, and I didn't feel guilty about it. And I think that kind of comes along the lines of this new program that we have launching, To Be Mindset, of really listening to your body and understanding, you know, am I hungry or am I just wanting to fill my face with food? So I knew that I was still hungry, so I ate that. But then I also knew, okay, so there was no fruit that was offered. So I still had to go home and I had to eat a fruit. I got my Blue, which is the healthy fats. I put guacamole on my plate. There wasn't any like, for the orange, I don't ever do salad dressing. I typically will eat coconut. So either like finely shredded coconut, whatever I've kind of got in my house. But I like the coconut.
I always do the dressing. I hate coconut.
Yeah, I don't like, and I'm like super restrictive on my food right now. It's almost like a little bit crazy. But so once I got home, I was like, okay, this is what, and I didn't have any teaspoons either, but I did trying to figure out, okay, they probably did cook with oil. So once I got home, I go, okay, this is what's left over. I had a fruit, so I ate an apple, and then I had some coconut, and then I had a teaspoon of almond butter, and then I was like, I was good. I wasn't hungry anymore.
So then some days, because it's a lifestyle, you're going into an event or, you know, whatever, with thinking what you have left in your day. And with 80-Day Obsession, we're doing timed nutrition. So timing is important. But on those days, if you're doing any other program or it's just you're doing these workouts, but you're not necessarily doing timed nutrition for whatever reason, you know, you're thinking about what you have left in your day and you're just trying to stay on track with that. Now, how did you avoid the really yummy food? Like cupcakes or sugar candy that's out, especially with like your kids and your husband, like going to town, I'm sure, like at some of these things. What had to shift with you to kind of not feel like you're torturing yourself, you know, like not beat yourself up about it or obsess about it or, you know?
I can tell you in the beginning. So when I went to Mexico and was doing the whole time nutrition, everything, it was hard in the beginning because it was really, I hadn't gotten myself accustomed to it. And you walk in and it's a normal huge buffet, and they have in the morning, they've got these like rows and rows of donuts, like beautiful, amazing donuts. And I just had to walk by. I had to put my blinders on and I said, okay, no. And then after breakfast, then they have this ice cream bar, and it's like, and Joe, he would want 2 ice creams. So he was like carrying one, and then I'd have to carry the other one and then like not eat it. And it's remembering like why I'm doing this. And
oh, we lost her.
Wait.
She'll come back maybe.
And, you know, I wanted to process as clean as possible. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, you came back. Okay. At first you said, remind myself why I'm doing this. And then you kind of cut out a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to try to tap I'm like right outside Target. So I'm going to try to tap on their Wi-Fi.
Target has Wi-Fi?
Okay, so yeah.
Oh my God. My mind is blown right now.
Okay, so tying it back to why I was doing it, I wanted to get through the program as clean as possible and really trusting in the program. And going, okay, if I can do this for these 13 weeks, then I can do anything. I'm too far away from the thing.
That's true. I know that feeling because like when I got through nursing school and I passed my boards, I was like, oh my God, like I can do anything. And then like this program came out and I was like, okay, if I could do this, then I could literally do anything. Like if I can pass nursing school and do this for 13 weeks, like, yeah, like I'm literally invincible. I'm basically Superwoman.
How do you
exactly
nurse hours or like with mother hours? Like how do you, I guess.
I'll address nurse hours. Leah, why don't you talk about like mom hours and having kids and they eat separate different snacks than you, etc. And then I'll jump in.
Before I go into that though, I do want to share one thing. So during Easter, I think that was probably the hardest part for me was going through.
Oh,
sorry. I'm trying to.
It's Sunday, so we're just kind of.
It's all groovy, man.
Oh, I don't know where she went. When she pops back in, I'll jump in while she figures her stuff out when she connects to Target Wi-Fi, which apparently that's a thing. So, so I've always been, I've struggled with, food addiction and, I have a little tinge of OCD. And so I get really obsessive about things. So I've always obsessed about food. I used to, at night go into my parents' like kitchen when I knew everyone was asleep and I would binge eat. I never had anorexia or bulimia, but I definitely had an obsession about food and I would hide food. I think Leah's back, so I'll jump back in, but I want Leah to be able to finish her thought.
Okay, sorry. So the whole thing is that if I am going to have these, I'm going to sit and I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to make it mindful. So instead of just like,
oh, we're struggling today. I see where Leah's going. Instead of just, shoving something into your mouth because it's there and everyone's doing it, being mindful with it and sitting down and enjoying whatever it is you're going to have. And that's a huge thing that the new program we have coming out, To Be Mindset, tackles. Oh, we got you back, Leah. I kind of finished your sentence. I think I know where you were going with that.
It was just about being mindful and actually, like, if you're going to have it, enjoy it. Don't just like, I forget who it was. Somebody was saying, if you're going to have the cookie, like, actually, like, eat and taste the cookie instead of like walking around your house, like, just putting pieces in your mouth. Like, know that you're actually eating it.
Well, treat it like a really good glass of wine. Like, how the wine enthusiasts, they swish the tiniest sip. They take a tiny fucking sip, right? And they just go, and they swish it around like it's mouthwash, and they go, and they like, taste it with air, and then they take a little swallow, and they breathe, and they go, and like literally pretend like it's a fine glass of wine and really enjoy that goddamn cookie, that cupcake, whatever, like appreciate that like it's a glass of wine. That's kind of what I started thinking. Right, Leah?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. There's some things that are like composite, like sushi or something else, where like if it was just chicken or steak, I would know how it fit in the boxes. And if it was rice separately or bread, I could like figure that out. But when it's something like sushi that's a composite or something else, like I don't know how to like eyeball that yet, which I guess just comes with experience.
So for sushi in particular, because I happen to love sushi, like one roll might be a little bit too much yellow box, but depends on how thick, some restaurants, they put a lot of rice on it. Some are, just a thin layer. And honestly, that's probably one roll of a good amount of sushi. And honestly, raw fish is so lean. God forbid you have one extra piece of lean, fish, believe me, like that won't like make or break your fat roll. Okay. Like that won't make or break your side handles. You know what I mean? Like, so sushi is a pretty lean, good idea. However, what gets one in trouble with sushi is the sauces and the stuff they drizzle on top. It's full of sugar. They're mayonnaise based. So that's where they get into trouble. So if you forego those, or you do something that's, or sometimes like a spider roll is like deep fried, typically a dragon roll is a great one. It's got avocado, cucumber, rice, and then all fresh raw fish. Like that's a great one. And of course for sushi lovers, like a dragon roll is a great option. And it doesn't have any of the sauces on top that has the sugar, the mayonnaise. So let's say you're going to go out to dinner and have sushi, forego the sake and have a roll of, a dragon roll, which can satisfy like that raw fish, wanting that raw fish. Yeah. And unfortunately, you won't have those delicious sauces if you like them drizzled on top. But again, like when you go into a situation, ask yourself, is whatever this setback means, whether it's, eating the sauces or eating a cupcake or having the glass of wine or the bottle in some cases, on a good night with a friend, is that going to be worth it to me, given the setback it may or may not cause in my journey, in my overall journey? Then just ask yourself that in your head. Don't say it out loud. Don't creep other people out of the dinner table. But like, just say like, is this going to be worth it? Or like, I've got my cup of coffee. Like, if I put a shit ton of sugar and creamer in it, is that going to be worth starting my day? Am I going to feel heavy in my stomach, kind of weird before I'm about to go drink my Energize and work out? Like, just ask yourself throughout the day, do a quick inventory. Do I feel this is worth it? And you know what? If you say yes, and you honestly think, you know what, this is going to make me happy. I'm okay with the potential that it'll set me back, right? And I'm going to be okay with that. Then eat the goddamn cookie or drink the glass of wine with your girlfriend or whatever, like just absolutely on those days when you have a birthday party or something, do not miss your workout. Leah didn't miss a freaking workout once in her Mexico trip. It was crazy. Like it was absolutely, I was in Mexico a week and a half ago with Beachbody, with the company. And there were actually some days where I didn't work out. Like Danny and I, instead of doing the morning workout live, we slept because I needed sleep. I was very tired, but I made that choice and we decided to work out in our hotel room later. And one day that's a lie. 2 days we didn't work out at all. And you know what? Like that was my choice and that's okay. You give your body rest. I made that active. It was not a passive decision. It was an active decision. Like Leah said, make a conscious, active decision to do something. Your life will feel more in control if you consider what's on your plate, consider what's in front of you, or consider the choices that you have, and then actively decide, yes, this is worth it, or you know what? No, it's not. I think I'll have water. Thank you. I don't want sake, or, tonight, or, the first week of this program, I was at my parents' house and I was doing something there and my mom said, hey, like my brother and my mom were going to have a glass of wine. Mom was like, hey, do you want one? And I said, no. And I immediately, without question, I said no, because I decided in my head when I started this program, I was going to stay on top of it. So anything that wasn't within my scope of what I needed, I just said no immediately. Because also with my obsession with food and stuff, if I thought about it too much, then I would get into my head, I would obsess about that glass of wine, and then I'd want that glass of wine, and I would think about it for the next 80 fucking days, and that sounds miserable. So I immediately said, no, Mom, I'm good. And she knew I said it so confidently and so quickly, like, as in like, don't ask me again, don't pressure me, don't bother me about it. Like, you have it, but I'm going to ignore it, So sit down and ask yourself, is whatever this could cause in a setback in my overall health, wellness, fitness, whatever journey, is it going to be worth it? And yes, sometimes the answer will be yes. And then sometimes, the answer will be no. And that's your decision. But at least then you're making a conscious decision and you're deciding, I'm in control of this. I know the repercussions of whatever. Okay. Just like, you go out for a night of drinking and you claim to your friends, oh, we're going to get hammered. You're basically saying, oh, I'm going to feel like shit tomorrow morning. That's literally what you're saying. So like, they're just saying it differently, right? They're just not, but in the back of your head, you're going to feel like shit the next day. Like, we all know it, right? So And that's why we frantically, before we go to sleep, chug water to think that that'll fix it all. So that's kind of where, you know, to be mindset comes in a lot. And, you know, just overall, like the mindset shift that has happened in my life, in Leah's life. And yeah, I figure out my boxes ahead of time. I decide, okay, like I know there's going to be cake there. I don't like cake. So or God forbid you take a bite of something and it tastes like shit and like you don't eat the rest of it. Has anybody eaten something even though it didn't really taste that good, but it had sugar in it? Like, yeah, I have eaten some shitty desserts in my life and they're not that great. Like, and so, yeah, I finally decided, like, someone will say, oh, why did you throw that away? What a waste. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the calories to eat something that didn't really like orgasm inside my mouth. Like it just didn't. Ice cream pretty much always does the trick for me. But like, you know, so other things aren't my jam, you know, so I won't waste time. I won't waste calories. I won't waste thoughts on candy for the sake of putting sugar into my body. Leah, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent. Did you have more to say?
No, but let's answer his question about time and like how we fit it all in. And
You're right. Okay. You start with your kids and family, and then I'll jump in with my job at nursing.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I have to make sure that everything that I'm doing is rotating around my schedule with my kids. So like before, when I was working my corporate job, I had to, I got up before at the crack of dawn of making sure that I got my workout in, you know, before I had to get the kids out for school and everything and make sure that I got myself ready. Now I do my workout after I drop the kids off at school, but I also have to make sure that I'm timing everything of like, because I have to drop them off and then I come home and then I eat and then I work out and then I eat and then I shower and then it's basically time to pick the kids up from school again. I mean, like this is literally my life every day. But I also have to go, okay, you know, I look at timing and base my eating around like my different activities throughout the day as well. So if, you know, depending on when I got my workout in, do I need to take my food with me while I'm driving to go to, you know, pick up my kids? And I mean, even today I'm out, I'm doing my grocery shopping, I'm, you know, hitting Target and then Costco. I had to make sure I ate before because there's that certain period of time that I can go without eating and then I get hangry and then I'm like, I want to kill somebody. I mean, literally, like this is actually what happened to my kid yesterday. So I don't know if you guys saw, but yesterday one of my sons was sick and he was throwing up and he did not have a fever. He did not have anything, but he was hungry and he got himself so hungry that he got sick. And I feel like a shitty mom because, you know, when he's asking for food at midnight, I was like, no, you can't eat. And and I didn't feed because I was like, it's midnight. Don't, you know, just go to bed. And then by the time
I would do the same thing. I'd be like, get into your friggin' bed, like get out of my face.
Yeah. You know, like you do not need to eat goldfish at midnight, but he was hungry and he got himself so physically hungry that he was throwing. So, yeah, I mean, I have to, so if I go, okay, you know, I've got all these different things that I need to do before I'm able to come home and eat or anything like that, what food do I need to take with me? So I don't have to worry about picking something up that is, you know, not going to be as healthy in my control. If run out of food or whatever, or, you know, then I have to go, what is the healthy choice at wherever I'm at so I don't jeopardize the results and just eat because I
am bored
need to eat. Yeah.
Or yeah,
I always have like a lunch bag with me. It's like a thing ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did that a lot when I was working my corporate job, not so much now because my pockets are a lot smaller and I can easily, you know, I'm like running out, do something, go home and eat.
Well, and you can, for someone that, so I started this journey when I was in nursing school and everyone was like, you're crazy. And I was like, well, while y'all are gaining 15 pounds, I'm going to lose 15 pounds. And I did. And honestly, meal planning, I had to like force myself to meal plan. And I'm someone, just so everybody knows, like I fucking hate meal planning. Like Leah's a wizard at it. When we went to the Unleash the Power Within event with Tony Robbins, she had like every meal for the 4 days we were gone packed and ready. And I was like, are you high? I was like, are you high? Like, what, how did you do that? I was like, I like brought some vegetables and I was going to wing it. Like I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. And she's like, oh, I just like, you know, I mean, I'm sure in reality, she's like, oh, I didn't sleep for 4 days and I did this and that, but like, it's done. I'm sure she's laughing because it's true. Anyway, so I started in nursing school on Sundays and usually Wednesdays or Thursdays. I made it a priority to cook. I also bought simple food. For example, when we first started 80 Day Obsession, I was doing, what are they called? Hard-boiled eggs. I have hard-boiled eggs. Well, I hate having to do them and then peeling them, and they're horrible. They're absolutely the bane of my existence, and they're just horrible. So I found at Costco they have organic, already peeled, packaged with 2 at a time, which is 1 red, done, like hello, packaged already, fresh. They're amazing hard-boiled eggs. And they're like $9, I think, and they're for 32 of them. So it's like, oh my God, like that's 16 reds. I was like, oh my God, the cost of that is completely worth it. Cost and worth are 2 very different things. So the cost of that is completely worth my lack of stress related to cooking these fucking hard-boiled eggs and then peeling them. That's the worst. So having to time it for 9 minutes, you boil for 9 minutes. I mean, it's stressing me out just talking about it all over again. So I let that go. I pick and choose different things. I pick my battles like in a relationship. So I decided I wasn't going to battle that. I was just going to buy that to make my life easier. Some people, they buy, you know, the pre-made salads at Trader Joe's. If you pick the right salad there, they're actually not that bad. If you pick the Caesar salad, the romaine lettuce not only now may have E. coli due to some recent studies, but furthermore, it doesn't have the nutrition value that the other one has, like the Greek spinach salad or whatever they have. I can't remember off the top of my head. They've got some good stuff. So you can choose to make those decisions. But also if you like doing this at home, you know, I would make a bunch of my own salads. I wouldn't add in any of the like soggy things beforehand, but like I would do 5 salads, you know, a day or 2 days in advance, because anything past that is kind of gross, like a salad. And then I would also make big batches of minestrone soup. I have a big batch of chili I make that's from the Fixate cookbook, although I've now modified it so much it's basically my own recipe now because I've added things, taken things away, you know, stuff like that. Then I made those, I make stuffed bell peppers. So I take the bell pepper, you cut it open, you cook the meat, you mix in with a couple other veggies, some corn and shit, you know, you throw it in, pop it in the oven for 30 minutes. They're done. And each of those has a box amount. It's a green, a red, and a yellow. So I'm like, oh good. So each one of those is a green, red, yellow. I throw that in there. If I wanted to do like 80 Day Obsession, I'm on plan D. And that includes 2 greens, a yellow, red fruit, protein, and the cheese. So I would throw the cheese on top of that, little Mexican something or other, right? With the bell pepper and the meat and the corn, all that. I would throw in the cheese in there, and just last minute, I would add some extra stuff to add in to equal my meal, pop it into a Tupperware and throw it in my bag. So, you know, I did that through nursing school, and I did a lot of salads in nursing school because it was cheap and easy. And then now when I'm working, my old job, I worked 7 to 3:30. So I had enough time in the afternoon. I would come home. I would be dead because the job I had sucked the freaking life out of me. So I would come home just ready to like kill myself. And what I would do is I would sit on the couch. I would shake my Energize, and then I would just lay on the couch dying. And I would just sip it until I felt it levitate me from the couch. And then I would put on my workout shoes and I would go in my workout room and I would do it. And I would make it happen. Now my new job is different hours. I'm 8 to 5. And I found I was working out at 7:30 at night till 8:30 and then eating a post-workout meal at 10 o'clock. Let's forget a shower, right? So I was like, okay, something has to change. I have to make a concession somewhere. And I was like, fuck, Catherine, like you have to wake up at 5 in the fucking morning. And I said that to myself. I sat down, I shrugged, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm really sorry for anyone who's watching this with children. I've sworn a lot this video. But anyway, I had to, like, I just, fuck, like I have to get up at 5 to work out, which of course 3 years ago, I would have been like, you're high. Like you're smoking some really good shit. And like, I want it because you're hallucinating really weird things. So like that, which is like totally not something I would have done. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it because then I can come home and it's done. I can work some business stuff. I can catch up with clients and stuff, touch base with Leah, you know, whatever. And I started doing it. My boyfriend started getting up with me and doing it as well, even when he didn't have to be up early at all, which I, just so you know, I wouldn't have done the opposite for him. So like, he's great. No, really, it wouldn't have. He's amazing. I'm not. So anyway, so he would get up, we would work out together. At 4:30, the alarm would go off. I'd get up, I would eat, try to wake myself up. And I actually ended up really liking it. I had better days at work at my new job. I knew that when I was off work at the end of the day, I was like, oh man, like I'm done. I can just relax, focus on that, you know, do some dinner. I don't have to eat at 10 o'clock at night. It was great. So I'm really enjoying that. Some days, if I have a really terrible night's sleep, my alarm goes off and I'm like, forget it. And I set it for 6:30 instead of 4:30 when the alarm goes off, and I sleep another 2 hours some days, but I actively make that choice. I actively decide in the moment. I say, would getting up right now benefit me than having to work out at like 7 o'clock at night by the time I get home, drink my Energize, etc. And some days the answer is yes. And I make it happen and I work out at night and I'm pissed off I did it, right? But I know that's going to happen. The Time Nutrition was the same thing. My previous job was intense. This one's a little more relaxed in my nursing career. But my previous job, I ran to the refrigerator at work, the break room. And I purposely set up meals like that. I would bring hard-boiled eggs and I would bring bell peppers because I could bring that bell peppers to my cart and just like eat them. And the fruit, I would just have like a banana because I could just like shove that and run. So I literally would just binge all the food for that meal and then time it again for 2 to 3 hours. I would go do it again. So I decided when I started this, okay, like that's just what I'm going to have to do. So I was eating with purpose. I took the emotion out of it because ain't nobody got time for emotion when you're a nurse running around. So like I would run in and eat the food for the sake of fuel. And I wasn't thinking about, oh, what do I feel like eating? What do I feel like? What do I want? It's not about what I want. It's what my body needs. My body doesn't need the cookies that a patient brought in for all the nurses. I'm telling you, nurses are fat, not only because we put others first before ourselves, but because the freaking patients bring us the unhealthiest shit, So between the combination of not putting ourselves first and food constantly from patients, which thank you, but like nurses are always fat. If you've noticed, there are lots of nurses that are not in great shape. So, which is part of my mission is to help nurses put themselves first because we can't be our best selves. Leah can't be her best mom, wife, coach, partner, life partner to me. So that's her priority is being a good life partner to me. I mean, I can't be the best nurse, girlfriend, daughter. I own a horse. I'm a horse mom. I can't be best for anybody else until I'm best for myself. So, and that's what really helps. And I'm able to take the personal development I've done, and I've been able to take all of that and help my patients. Like I had a patient on the phone the other day and I had to coach her down from having like a panic attack, freaking out. And I was like, listen, like I'm going to put on the phone some YouTube. we're going to do a 10-minute meditation together because you need to calm the fuck down. I didn't say the F word, but I did say you need to calm down right now. I was like, we got to stop this because you're screaming. It's like ridiculous. You're very upset. Let's calm down together. And oh my gosh, she went from like crying, freaking out. She was finally calm. She was able to tell me what she needed, what she was worried about, what was giving her a panic attack. And I was able to fix the situation. And I wouldn't have done that before. I would have had no clue what to do. And I would have just kept panicking with her and been like, what are you doing? And getting mad at her and aggressive because I didn't know what to do. I now have skills to better help my patients because I put myself first, because I read personal development and I figure out how to meditate, how to help others. So that's kind of what my plan. I don't work 12-hour shifts. Some nurses do. We do have some nurses, some people in our groups that work 12-hour night shifts. And I do have a video of a girlfriend of mine who works in a cardiac ICU unit tight shift. It's intense. You run for 12 hours. It's basically a marathon. And I have a video. She shared how she is doing her plan with 80-Day Obsession and how she's done it. Her before afters are fantastic. She's phenomenal. So I'll reshare that video too, to go over her tips and tricks for working night shift while on a 12-hour shift as well. But how I do my shifts is, when I wasn't working so early, I decided to do my workout early so that I could have the evening off. And again, I just reviewed my goals. I said, I say to myself when my alarm goes off, get up, get up, get up. You're willing to do what many people aren't, so that, now, so that later you can do what others can't. And I say that to myself. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm willing to do what others aren't in this moment so that later I can do what others can't in the future, whether that's running, keeping up with my children, just getting up early and making that a priority, whatever, like making me a priority. Other people live their whole lives not knowing how to make themselves a priority, and they're miserable. And so that's what I decided. I say that to myself. A great resource is the 5-second rule. The basis, it's a great book by Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. And it teaches you through evidence-based practice how counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. If you sense any hesitation in any part of your life, whether it's wanting to accept a job interview, wanting to get up out of bed in the morning instead of pressing the snooze button, literally anything. Approaching a client about like a perspective, someone that you think would be like great at coaching, or like anything in your own business, whatever it is, what counting down like that does is stop that mindset, that wheel that's constantly stopping you from doing things that you wish you had done, so that you avoid that. Oh God, I really should have approached that girl at the bar. She looked really cute. She looked like she could have a great personality, but instead you got 2 in your head. That's an example she used in the book. This guy, he got 2 in his head and he didn't approach her. But then, if he had just gone 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he walked over and said hi and introduced himself as a gentleman, not like a creep. Okay, that's different. If you're a creep, don't do that. But like, you walk over and you say hi, and that's it. The outcome doesn't matter. You have now given yourself confidence to go do that again. And who knows, you could meet the love of your life. You've now stopped that constant hamster wheel that has been spinning your whole life, depending on how old you are. And you've stopped yourself from doing that and stopping yourself from living your life and from, overthinking something. So yeah, I lay in bed and I go, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes the numbers go to 60. It doesn't go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I've done that. But the idea is you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you jump into whatever it was that you were going to do. You thrust yourself forward. And that is so amazing and life-changing. And if you want to like hesitate doing a workout, or if instead I want to go sit and watch TV right now and enjoy my morning with the rest of my coffee instead of going and do my workout, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I jump up. I go grab my fucking Energize. I put on my shoes. I do my thing. My 5 bras that I have to wear for my workout are already on. They are. But I do that. Instead of watching a TV, I stop myself and I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I stand up. I get my Energize. I go into my workout room. There's no question. I do it. And it's literally life-changing. So that is something I highly recommend too. And same with food. You want to eat something, you're obsessing about it. You think in your head, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you go for the vegetable instead of going for the cupcake. You go for that. and it stops that hamster wheel that people have going their whole lives, that holds them back from so many things, from accepting great job interviews, or job positions, things like that. I love the movie Yes Man. If you guys have ever seen Yes Man, who's the Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey plays in it, and the idea is like a therapist told him, from now on, you have to say yes to everything. He was like, negative, nasty, whatever. You have to say yes to everything, no matter what it is. Someone says, like, will you like poop on a glass table while I sit underneath it? Apparently that's like a weird sex thing. Like, you have to say yes. So it was like a series of him saying yes to everything. And how all of the experiences he said yes to, jumping out of a plane, like, doing stuff like that. He said yes to everything, and how his life changed. And that's like a real thing. I mean, yes, it was a comedy, and, he did some weird, crazy shit. But then, eventually he then incorporated in, okay, now I'm going to pick and choose what I say yes to, but I'm always going to consider the yes first before I say no. So, I mean, can always consider it, because if it's something stupid, like, hey, let's like try to, dive off the Golden Gate Bridge and not think that we're going to like break every bone in our body. Don't do that.
Common sense applies.
Yeah. But the idea was he was saying yes to everything, and it opened him up to so many things. So the Yes Man's it's just a funny comedy. It's basically a romantic comedy, and that's like my jam, but it also has that principle in it, which is amazing. It's a great Friday night video for yourself and a significant other if you want to force your husband to watch a romantic comedy. So, but it also has that principle. If you think about that principle and you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, like that actually does have a great life lesson in it, embedded into a phenomenal rom-com. So anyway, that's kind of some of my tips and tricks. I wake up early, and then honestly, when I start my day with my workout, when people have like treats at work and stuff, I'm like, dude, like I woke up at 5 this morning. Like, why the hell would I ruin that with Safeway brand chocolate chip cookies? I'll make my own Super Bomb chocolate chip cookies at home this Friday with some girlfriends. But on a Tuesday, with no reason to celebrate, people just brought these nasty, or those cookies that Safeway has that has that nasty layer of frosting on top. My brother eats an entire box of those. It's fucking disgusting. But like, why? Like, what is the purpose of that? Like, make something yourself with like, and put like love into it and really good flavors, and make it, really good. Make it worth it. Don't, or on a Tuesday night, why would I mindlessly drink by myself just for the sake of having some wine, as opposed to just saving that for having a glass of wine with my best friend? Last week, we both needed to have some girl time. We each had one cocktail. We nursed it, and that was fine. Like, we enjoyed it. That was our active choice. It wasn't like I was at home by myself, which I'm not saying I haven't done. I totally have. But just mindlessly drinking something at home by yourself, just watching TV. You make an active choice to do it with someone and make it an event and make it worth your time and your calories. So, Leah, you know me, I just keep talking, and I could talk for another hour. But do you want to wrap this up, or do you have any more questions for us, since you're the one that's on live right now, even though we're recording it for everyone? Like,
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been laughing.
The other tip that Leah had mentioned to me was like, she did this meal prep, and I think I misunderstood her, but like how much she did. But I totally did something that worked for me, which is I got like 6 of these like sets of the whole entire containers, and just did the entire meal prep for like the week, and like froze it, or like put it in the fridge, so I'd always have something if like. That's great. And yeah, I hate that they only send one. However, for every like base kit that you buy of something, like the 2B Mindset comes out, they send these with everything. So let me just share. I have a drawer. Let me just share. My drawer has like 10 to 12 of every fucking box. So as a warning though, for like the dressing and stuff, those things do not seal all the way. They will leak. So make sure they're sitting upright. And I always put the little orange one inside my salad, so that if it leaks, at least it leaks into the salad and doesn't leak all over the lunch. But that's great. Yeah. Buy more of, you don't have to buy the ones that are here. Buy the equivalent. Like, just so you know, the boxes have equivalencies. Yeah. Purple and green are 1 cup. Yeah. The purple and green are 1 cup. The red, the yellow is a 1/4 cup. The red is 3/4 of a cup. The purple, or what am I thinking?
Yeah. I'm missing something. I don't know. But they do have equivalencies. So if you go away for a weekend and you're like, oh crap, I forgot the boxes. Yeah, they have equivalencies. You can use a regular measuring cup and measure it out just to make sure if you're unsure. For example, the carbs, of course, my eyes are bigger than the box. And I always overestimate. The veggies, I'll pretty much never overestimate. But the carbs, I always will. You slap some rice on your plate, of course, I'm going to slap on more. So for the sake of those, then pick and choose. Yeah, if you're out with friends or you're like at a lake house, that just sounds really good right now given the weather. But if you're like at a lake house or something, take a quarter cup and scoop the rice, and then the rest load up on the veggies, whatever, but make sure you measure some of those things that are actually denser and higher in calories, as opposed to the veggies, which like the amount of calories that bell peppers have in them, compared to like rice is so low. God forbid you eat an extra green box or an extra serving of vegetables. Like I promise you, again, your love handles will not be affected by more vegetables, more or less, unless you eat 15 extra servings a day. Leah's kind of an exception to a lot of this because of her bikini competition thing. Sometimes that is very specific with how many veggies to how many carbs to how many proteins you eat a day. So that's like a whole different ballgame, which we could do a whole other.
Yeah, I don't follow. I'm sticking with, instead of trying to figure out the whole macros, which is a lot more, you can drill down a lot more specific, even though the containers are macro based. I'm still completely following the container plan. But I use Ziploc baggies for everything. Like I will make a huge batch of rice and then I'll portion it out and then I put it in a Ziploc baggie and then it looks like a kind of like a sushi roll, to be honest with you. And then I just dump it out.
Came with 4 days worth of food, all in little Ziploc baggies. The chicken, the rice, the tortillas. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I feel so inadequate right now because I do not have the meal prep skills that she does.
It just, for me, it makes it so much easier. I mean, even with so for my shakes and for my recover, I put my frozen fruit in there. I will get the huge bag of frozen fruit from Costco, then I portion that out ahead of time so I don't have to deal with it later. And so I can just grab the baggie from the freezer, dump it in the thing and go. So for me, it's a convenience thing, especially being that we're eating so often. I've had a couple weeks where I haven't meal prepped, and honestly, it almost got to the point where it's like eating is a pain in the ass, and I'd rather not eat than prepare another freaking meal. And
today I'm gonna do another crock pot something or other, I mean, and that way it cooks all day and I can do whatever. I love crock pot meals. That's like my jam. Crock pot is the shit. Because after my workout, when I cool down before I hop in the shower and then get ready for work, I can just toss all that shit into it, press, play for like 10 hours on low or whatever. And then that's it. And then I go shower and I forget about it and it's done.
Have you tried?
When I get home, the house smells amazing.
Have you tried Instapot yet?
No, but I've heard it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I made ajitama, which is like hard-boiled eggs, but seasoned with like soy sauce and mirin and little things. It's really like, you ever go to a ramen restaurant and you have the ramen eggs? They're like
no.
And like infused. Anyway, it's really good and like normally it takes hours.
What is ramen eggs? Okay, ramen eggs. Target has Wi-Fi. Oh my God! Like,
I'll send you the recipe. It's really good. It's not
share the recipe in our group so that other people can. I'm curious, and then of course everyone ends up doing their own thing and like makes different shit with it, right? And like improve.
So here's a tip though on because soy sauce has so much sodium in it. Use
liquid.
Have you seen liquid aminos? It's such a good. You can buy it at Whole Foods. It's a really good replacement, and it's so much better.
Bulk liquid amino bottle.
Yeah.
I use here. I have the like low sodium, like high health one, and I have.
That's great.
I know.
I'm so excited for everyone to listen to this recording.
I'm freezing though. Outside of Target, I'm afraid to go in.
It does look a little windy out there, so at least here in like NorCal or in south of you. So what did you have?
No, I also do like I quick pickle a lot of vegetables, and I do like nok cham, which is like fish sauce for some of them, and I do some other quick pickling.
Quick pickle. Oh, you've got more skills than me. You should be talking, not me.
No, I felt like the vegetables, like I was just like doing vegetables, and they were great, but I didn't figure out the sauce, so it was kind of tasteless. And I'm like, what can I do that it won't add calories? And like vinegar is okay to a degree, so I'm like, why don't I pickle it in the vinegar instead of just putting it on salad or something?
That's the thing, is if you sit back and take a few minutes and think about like, how can I improve the flavor of something so that I keep interest in it? I made a stir fry with a Worcester sauce, which does have high salt in it, but I did Worcester sauce, some avocado oil, because I don't cook with olive oil. That's a whole other story. It actually, cooking olive oil changes the the structure of it. Olive oil is not meant to be heated. Anyway. So I used avocado oil, but I did riced cauliflower and then like broccoli and something else, and then I cooked separately some beef, and then it was like a beef stir fry, and I used Worcester in a little wok.
That sounds really good.
And I was like going, walk this way, when I was using my wok. I have to say that every time I say walk, by the way. It was like, I tried not to just now, and it was a compulsion. I just had to go, walk this way. Anyway.
I'm glad you did.
I'm always glad I did. I'm always glad I do, because I never regret that, because it's fantastic. So does anybody have any more questions? And again, we'll do this every week. I'll always post the recordings if it's something that's, important, or something that was a topic that was brought up, that a few people that I know will get value from this. But any other questions or anything else? Leah, final thoughts? I think we lost Leah. I don't hear her. Oh, she muted herself.
I think
I'm here, but I have to go to the bathroom. Oh yeah, I'm in the bathroom.
We're recording, Leah.
Not for kids.
Well, then Leah has no final thoughts as she's in the restroom. All of this is now recorded and on my YouTube. Leah, I love you.
So much. I love you both. You guys were awesome.
Thanks so much, Nate. It was so nice to meet you, and I'm so excited to see you in the groups and see more of you on these calls.
Thank you.
And come with any questions. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day, you guys. Bye.